Welcome to another edition of Unsportsmanlike Conduct. I'm Tommy Morris. He's Trevor Baru. Trevor, we're going a little international today. We're talking about the 2024 Olympics. Rumors are LA has reached out to San Francisco asking if they'd like to come together for a bid. Do you like this idea, Trevor?
I think it's interesting. With the World Cup, you often have a country that's going to host. With the Olympics, it's typically a city, and in the past, it hasn't worked out well. You look at Sochi and Russia and the Winter Olympics a couple years ago. They spent a whopping $38.93 billion on the Olympic Games. A bit of that probably went to some serious corruption that Putin and the Russians had as they were constructing the city in Sochi, but I think it's a cool idea. The fact they haven't had joint cities together in San Francisco and LA would be an unbelievable combination. The issue is just when LA hosted in '84, they actually were the only city that never had to have taxpayers pay for the Olympics. The IOC actually helped up with it. It was a special amendment after the disaster of the Montreal Games in was it, I think, '76? If I have my numbers right. I wasn't alive then, so I'm just going. I'm just going off data, but. That's the issue is, are people okay with taxpayer money going towards the Olympic Games? What do you think, Tommy? We're both native Californians.
See, I think it's you. I don't think you need to be honest with you. And to your point, there haven't really been joint cities, and I don't really understand why. I guess it's a tradition. You go to a city, like I guess it started in Athens, whatever. World Cup does this whole country. But if you take all the stadiums and athletic facilities that all the cities in California, quite frankly, have, you don't really even have to build anything. I mean, maybe you have to put in some infrastructure to help house all the people and with all the transportation, all that kind of stuff. But why can't the state of California put in a bid? Why not make it LA, San Francisco, come down to San Diego maybe? I mean, there's all these facilities everywhere. And to break people's backs trying to build brand new buildings and all this crap, it's so unnecessary. I mean, it's all right here. So yeah, I'm all for it. I'm all for putting them together. And I don't think you even need to waste a taxpayer's dollar because with all the stuff that's everywhere, you don't really have to build much.
I completely agree with you. I think it'd be a really cool concept to try out. And looking forward, trying to find other cities that could actually host these games is only going to get tougher and tougher with, as soon as you start weeding out some of these corrupt leaders of countries who are just taking these, backhanded deals to make these huge events work, whether it's FIFA or the Olympics and whatnot. You look at Rio right now, they're talking about the water might be so toxic, they don't even know how they're going to have the any type of aquatic event that's outside of a pool in the 2016 games. So I think going forward, if they can make something like this work, it might be the way of the future for the Olympic Games is find cities that have the infrastructure to actually host. Good thing that Boston dropped out because that was crazy from the start. And then maybe moving forward, you find countries that have multiple cities that have the infrastructure so that you don't have countries going crazy amounts of debt after hosting these games.
Yeah, it makes absolutely no sense to me. I mean, I think back in the day when these games weren't as extravagant, it was easier to do this. But now that it's just such a frenzy. I mean, having all that in one city for a couple of weeks is crazy.
And you look back at some of the past games and how much over budget they went. So Montreal, what we already talked about, they went 8 times over the budget they had allotted for these games. And that all goes out of the city's pocket. Look at some other disasters. Barcelona spent 4 times as much as they had allotted for. What else? What do we else have here? It just gets out of control. The most recent games in London went 100% over budget. So it's been a disaster with some of the past cities, and whatever they could come up with to alleviate some of the cost of the Olympic Games, I'm all for it. So I think Los Angeles, San Francisco could be probably the most amazing games ever hosted when you combine those two cities and the different things they have to offer. So I'm all for it.
I'm with you.